prelims as well as mains point of view. Now, the Mines and Mineral Development and Regulation Amendment Act 2015 provide the mining sector in India with specific requirement and granting mineral leases for the mining operation. The Mining and Mineral Act of 2015 shows that India needs a development in the mining sector and mining lease will be provided for private institutions. Further, National Mineral Exploration Trust (NMET) is developed and District Mineral Foundation is also developed. So, District Mineral Foundation is established by the state government for the benefit of persons in district affected by mining related operations. During mining processes, we see that various people die and various mines are collapsed. For example, in rat hole mining cases, we saw, friends, that many people died during the mining rat holes and they were collapsed and no one came out safely. So, in order to protect the people from hazard, the insurance is also provided and the license cum mining lease with a new category of 2-stage concession purpose for undertaking prospecting operations, exploring, providing minerals deposit followed by the mining operations. Further, the maximum area of mining is also determined by central government to increase the area limit instead of providing the existing area. Further, lease period is also developed by period for coal, lignite remain unchanged. For the coal and lignite and atomic minerals, mining lease shall be granted for period of 50 years. So, what is the period of mining lease? 50 years. Remember this point. Then auction of notified and other minerals is also provided, which the state government shall grant mining leases and prospecting license cum mining lease for the both notified and other minerals. All lease shall be granted with bought of auction by the competitive bidding including e-auction. So, online auction भी किया जाएगा मित्रों by e-auction facility and which will be provided a new mining and mitigation process. Further, cyber security and surveillance, which created the news of the July. So, why was this in news? Cyber security recent controversy regarding Pegasus spyware. So, there was a huge controversy that a Pegasus software from Israel is spying on the all perspective of India, and that is creating the threat to the personal data of every individual of India. So, we shall discuss the all aspect of what is spyware, what is a Trojan horse and how these affect the entire system of a person, individual and banking system. So, cyber surveillance is a measure to use a smart or connected device that communicate through the data network, Wi-Fi and internet activities. Now, it places of Internet of Things devices used for the cyber surveillance are generally connected to each other and the devices that control them. Now, communication surveillance in India takes place of primarily under this part. Now, we see that the personal computer is there and the data is being surveillanced on the internet and the apps which we use. So, these apps get collection of all this data and share this data with the Google and worldwide network at Virginia. So, when this data is collected, then other apps also use this data. So, this use of data makes the problem under a huge threat and which leads to the destruction of the data set and the data is destroyed. So, there is a spyware that was Pegasus which used to take the data and that has a Trojan horse activity by cheating, by getting inside your system and taking the data, by taking it back and taking it data for other uses and acting as a spyware. So what is spyware? That acts as a spying activity on the database that you have already being used. So it is a threat under Article 19(2) of the Constitution of India, which propagates expression of belief, freedom of expression, belief, faith and worship, and Information Technology Act of 2000, which enacted the legal recognition for electronic communication. Further, Section 69 of the IT Act protection safeguard for the encryption, monitoring and decryption of information rules 2009. Also enact to deal with the surveillance of electronic communication. IT Act covers the civil and criminal offences of data offenders. Further, the Indian Telegraph Act of 1885 was the first act which propagates sanctions on the interception of any personal data. 1885 में भारत की आज़ादी से पहले ही ये कानून अंग्रेज़ों के द्वारा लाया गया था in order to protect the individual from their data theft, for their privacy and personal protection of their information. So again, public safety and public emergency, it also caters the interest of sovereignty and integrity of India. Now Section 419A of the Telegraph Act, remember this section 419A and section 5 and section 419A provides for the Secretary of Government of India took into the Ministry of Home Affairs, which provide the catering of all the data which are under processing by government agencies, and at secretary level officer who is the charge of the Home Ministry also issues the guideline for the activities in case of a state government, and in unavailability of circumstances such order may be made by an official and not below the rank of a joint secretary by the Government of India, who shall be authorized to look under the Union Home Secretary or the State Home Secretary. Remember section 419A of this act and section 5 of this act. Now decoding Pegasus. So Pegasus method attack is called a zero click attack. Without clicking your mouse or clicking your laptop board cursor, the data is being theft from your computer to the other location. So that is again a huge threat for the privacy, such as missed WhatsApp call, alter call logs, and user no knowledge that what has happened. By just a missed call, it collects all the data. It can also be installed manually on a device over a wireless transfer. Then if it fails to connect with the command and control server for more than 60 days, it self-destructs and removes all the traces. Once the spyware enters the device installed and modeled to track call logs, read messages, emails, calendars, internet history, gather location data to send the information to the attacker. So be aware of this Pegasus attacker. Now if it detects that it was installed on the wrong device, then SIM card will be self-destructed, and Amnesty International noted that despite issuing security updates, Android and iOS devices were breached. To stay safe, users need to ensure that software or devices updated and all apps are installed directly through the official store, that is Google Store, and no suspicious email should be clicked or viewed by the user. So again, this remains very important for the user as well as the internet app downloader to remain alert with such kind of apps which caters your personal messages, personal contacts, personal emails, personal browsing history, personal banking history, and your location is also tracked. So this is very dangerous, friends, and can be asked in the UPSC also. Now state-backed surveillance versus rights to privacy. So what is right to privacy? So under Article 21 of Constitution of India, there is issue of privacy. and which is breached by the People's Union for Civil Liberty and Union of India in case of 1997, which shows that the right of privacy and wireless surveillance is against the constitutional freedom which is provided by Article 21 of the Constitution of India. Then Supreme Court is a landmark decision, case Puttaswamy versus Union of India. Remember these two cases, People Union of Civil Liberties and case Puttaswamy case, which unanimously held the privacy as fundamental right under Article 14, right to equality, under 19, right to speech and expression, Article 21 of right to life. Then these rights become a fundamental part of your life by having the adequacy of exactness in which you can assure yourself in assertion against the state by saving your personal information, upbringing your own opinion in front of the state machinery. Then privacy judgment lays down fourfold tests that need to be fulfilled. Four kinds of tests, that is, first, state action must be sanctioned by law. Then in a democracy society there must be a legitimate aim for the action. Then third, action must be proportionate to the need for such interference. And fourth is must be subjected to procedural guarantees against the abuse of the power. These four procedures are laid down by the law of Government of India in order to cater the problems of the laws of privacy. So in Vineet Kumar versus CBI case, outline the ambit of a state's power to surveillance the subject, particularly on matters that do fall under the category of public emergency or the interference of public safety. Remember this fact again. Then drone guidelines for regulations in India. Why in news? Ministry of Civil Aviation has released the updated drone rules. So drone are such unmanned aerial vehicle flying in the sky developed by common people. So a new guidelines for the working with the drones with layman terminology, the unmanned aircraft which should be used under certain guidelines and certain prerequisites which needs to be catered under the drone rules. Now it is called as the unmanned aircraft system which is remotely piloted. So drones are being used for various surveillances by many peoples by remotely operating it. So drones का दुरुपयोग हो रहा था friends, and it was used in remote tracking of government agencies and strategic institutions. So in order to cater the needs of operations of unmanned air vehicles, the drone guidelines has been provided by Government of India by new drone rules. Now, the application of drone in sectors of crop health by monitoring crop quality and soil health. Further, it caters the need of forest and wildlife by conserving management, human-wildlife conflict and forest protection. Further, urban development is also catered by city survey, improved by the facilities that are provided in the cities, and project monitoring and quality assessment for urban planning. Then in pandemic and epidemic situation and maintaining health and hygiene, cleanliness, and look into the areas where the cleanliness has been catered or not. So every kind of surveillances can be carried out by the drones. Then in the areas of traffic management and road surface condition monitoring, improving traffic management and traffic feedback. Then homeland security, real-time surveillance and security planning, drugs and narcotic detection, disaster management for real-time surveillance in times of earthquake, flooding and tsunami kind of system, then delivery of essential goods and search and rescue operations. Mining sector, mineral scouting, managing encroachment, control, monitoring is also done by the drone system. So, this remains very important for your prelims as well as mains. So, anti-drone technology that can be used again rough drones, drones से against भी कुछ technology use की जाती हैं that are anti-drone technologies, and that is radio jammer. In order to cater the drones operation, there can be a radio frequency that can stop the operating drone. So, that is called as a radio jammer. So, it can be used in a static mobile or handheld device that uses combination of radar and cameras. By transmitting and throwing the frequencies, we can control the drone operation at distant locality. Then GPS spoofing. What is this, friend? It countermeasures involve sending a new signal to drone, replacing communication with the GPS satellites, and which is uses for the navigation. So, GPS navigation is again used by the drone regulation, and which can also incur the working of drones and can be stopped and checked by the agencies. Then electromagnetic pulses, and what is this? Links with the fired and disrupt or even destroy electronic circuits of the drone by throwing the laser and ultra laser beams. We can stop the operation of drones. Then we can also throw the net guns. By net cannon fired in the ground can be handed and shoulder launched. So, by throwing the net guns, any drone which is flying over your head can be captured. Suppose a drone is flying over here and it can be captured by throwing a net from a range of 20 meter to 300 meters. Then there is high energy lasers. So, lasers are light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Laser technology throws a beam of light which again can destroy the object in its area or its range. So, laser is a light frequency that is thrown, like this light is coming on this panel. So, if there is a laser light and it is of high frequency in red zone, then it can destroy the object that are coming into its range. So, a drone flying in the range of a laser light can be destroyed by just clicking a laser gun with an extremely focused beam of light. Now, environment part constitutes with the report titled The State of the City's Climate Finance, and that was recently released by the Cities Climate Finance Leadership Alliance and the World Bank. Cities Climate Finance Leadership Alliance shows that coalition of leadership committed by developing finance and activated the climate action skill by 2030. So, in order to mitigate the climate changes and greenhouse gas emission, pollution and various activities due to the pollution, the new guideline for the cities climate finance leadership has been provided by Government of India. Further, it not only multi-level and multi-stakeholders coalition, but aims at investment gap urban subvention, climate projects and infrastructure worldwide. Now, climate finance is a process to refer local, national, transnational financing drawn from the public, private and alternative sources of financing that seeks to support, mitigate, reduce greenhouse gas emission and adoption by adopting the plans for adverse effect of changing climate actions that will adverse the climate change. Further, climate financing will essentially help the world to reach the target of limiting global warming to an increase of 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial level. Then, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change again frames the guideline in order to have the work over the Ramsar Convention, taking Ramsar sites also included in UNFCCC plus Kyoto Protocol. in order to cater the greenhouse gases, and Paris Agreement COP21, which again caters the environmental parties by building common but differential responsibilities, and international solar alliances. So, it caters all the areas of environment by making UNGEF Global Environment Facilities by United Nations, and it has several areas of operating entity and financial mechanisms since convention's entry force in 1994. It manages two funds, that is Special Climate Change Fund and established in 2001 for the adoption, technology transfer, capacity building, energy, transport, industry, agriculture, forestry, waste management and economic diversification. Then Forest Least Development Countries Fund for development of and assistance of least developed countries and parties which are in African nations. And there is a NAPA, that is National Adaptation Program of Action. Then Adaptation Fund, which is established in 2001 to finance concrete adaptation of project programs to developing country and parties to like Kyoto Protocol and particularly vulnerable and adverse effect of the climate actions. Then there was Green Climate Fund, which was established in COP16 2010. Remember this friends, COP Conference of Party 16 2010 में क्या establish किया गया? Green Climate Fund, which uses $100 billion per year by 2020 through this fund to support developing countries and realize their nationally determined contribution, which are in COP21 INDC targets. Other funds and instruments, that is UN backed International Climate Fund, Clean Technology Fund aims to empowering transforming the developing countries by providing resources to scale low carbon technologies. Then Climate Investment Fund aims to accelerate climate action by empowering the transformation in the clean technology, energy access, climate resilience and sustainable forest development, middle income countries. Then we have UN RED Plus, that is UN reduction emission from deforestation and forest degradation, that is UN RED and UN RED Plus, REDD Plus. Remember this fact for your prelims as well as mains point of view, which is important for GS paper 3. Now, need for climate finance goes for reducing emission and transition towards low carbon economies by investment in the renewable energy generation, green holdings, green buildings, efficient transportation, electric device technology, decarbonization industries, alternative fuel technology and biofuel, restoration of land and forest, carbon capture and sequestration technology, etc. Then investment needed in climate resilient infrastructure such as storm water drains, storm defenses, flood defenses, developing resilience in crop varieties and recover from losses and damage due to extreme weather condition. Then addressing the need of small island development state and climate smart agriculture, in which investment is needed, rehabilitation of vulnerable population. Now, next part is major anti-pollution policy measures taken by Delhi. So, in order to cater the highest pollution rise in Delhi, Government of Delhi catered the Graded Response Action Plan GRAP, and it is set to curb the triggered phases as air quality deteriorated, which is a typical of October to November period, which include the measures such as ban on entry of heavy vehicles, odd even roads and rationalizing restrictions and halt on construction work. Further, there was NCAP program, that is National Clean Air Program. So, under NCAP program, there was a curb air pollution and pan India quality of air monitoring, citizen centric work and citizen awareness, which is to be catered by the government bodies.